Hi guys, welcome back to our channel,
Gpops and Gigi. Today we're joined by Robert Simmons from Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle YouTube channel. Once again, we hosted Rob for his traveling practice 2 years in a row, and we hope he makes it an annual. But this practice session, the two practice sessions this weekend were practice session 98 and 99. We first met Rob several years ago, and I'll let him tell you more of how we met.
Well, first, thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to see you both. Always a pleasure. That's not exaggeration.
Thank you. Likewise.
Yes, absolutely. What's the question?
Tell us how you remember how we met.
Yes. So our first interaction was, it was via phone call. Actually, no, it was a message that you sent me. And here's the funny part about that. You left me a message. I don't remember the context of the message, but you left your number for me to call you. It's not the first time somebody's done that, but it is the first time I actually called the person. I'm telling you, man, everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
It really is. So if I think back to that, and I think to where we are now, me sitting in your home in California,
Right?
and just
Crazy.
the relationships that we have. Man, I love these guys. There's no exaggeration about that. So, but anyway, they're both VI preloaders to my channel, Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle. And the whole VI preloader concept, this is inspired by Ruben, because he asked me when I called him on the phone, did I have a paid subscription? And I told him no. And then he said, why not? He actually said, why not, with a chuckle. Like it was ridiculous that I didn't have it, because he was already supporting other people that did have it. So, I want to thank you again for that, as well as the fact that he has been seeking education with his motorcycle. Because I remember he said to me, we got these motorcycles and we were scared to death. Like we didn't know, we didn't want to kill ourselves. So being responsible like he is, did the right thing, and that's what made all of this happen. So
Yeah.
that's how we first met, not physically. When did we first physically meet? Florida?
Daytona Beach.
This is a very, very special preloader, and I'm going to tell you why. What's your name, sir?
Ruben Garza,
Okay, so Ruben, where you from?
Southern California.
All right, so Ruben contacted me a while ago, and let me tell you something. I'm a good judge of character. I've always been a good judge of character. And this was, near the beginning of what I was doing here with Robert Simmons paying it forward. And I forget how Ruben contacted me, but I actually gave Ruben a phone call. He asked me to call him, and I'm like, I'm not going to call anybody because then they have my number, but I don't know, I had a good feeling about him. So we had a conversation, and I remember Ruben asked me, how come you're not charging people for this, like at least with a subscription, Patreon or something like that? And I told him, I really don't want to get involved in all of that, because again, I don't want to get involved in it because I'm not familiar with it at all. And he said to me, what you're doing, what you're providing, this stuff is like invaluable, man. I mean, he said, I would pay $5 a month for it. I tell you this story because he is the reason why VI preloaders were born, even all the way down to the price, because I had no idea about any of this. I never thought about it. And he let me know about it, and it made me think. And I appreciate him for that. So all you VI preloaders out there, here's the president of VI preloaders, right? The founder, I should say. And those of you that are not VI preloaders yet, go to the description section or my website, information on it, there's a link there. Okay. How long have you been riding a motorcycle?
Well, I started when I was 18 years old, and I only rode a street bike it was a 250 Yamaha, something like that, only because that's all I could afford. That was, 25, 30 years ago. Then I stopped riding for many years.
Yeah.
During COVID, my wife and I wanted to do something outdoors. We bought a Harley. I bought a Deluxe. And then she rode with me the first time, said, no, I'm not riding with you. I want my own bike. Now she rides the Deluxe, and I ride a 2020 limited convertible bike. And I didn't know, I got scared one time when I saw Robert's Paying It Forward YouTube channel, because he was teaching things that I didn't know. So I went to my wife and I said, Maria, we're riding out there with no knowledge. Look at this YouTube, let's study it, let's look at it, let's practice. Because I didn't know how much I didn't know until I subscribed and became a VIP preloader for Robert's channel, because he teaches you, life-saving skills that are just incredible. So my wife and I, especially during COVID, we found schools around our house that were vacant. I invested in a bunch of cones, and I do everything every practice session that he does. Every
exercise?
Every exercise my wife and I do. We can't do them all perfect yet, but we're learning, and our confidence level has increased so much that now we feel more confident on the road and riding in twisty roads in the parking lot. We're not dragging our feet. As soon as that bike's moving, my feet are up on the boards.
That's right.
And that's not how it used to be. My ankle would be getting caught in my bags because I didn't know what I was doing. It's just an incredible change in our riding and our confidence level.
Exactly. And guys, let me be clear. Him subscribing to the channel, yes, that helped. But the main part of that is him practicing. And when I say practice, you heard him use the word study. Him and his wife's name is Maria, by the way. We're going to speak to her. They took this seriously. He would send me videos of them out there practicing.
You're investing in your life. You're investing in your future, in the safetiness of you on the road, and being able to be the boss of your motorcycle.
Exactly, man. Exactly, guys. I didn't ask him to say all of that, so that's coming from him. And how often do you practice?
We'll
Step back there, so you're not in the way.
We practice about maybe once or twice a week. I'm talking full cones, set it up. You know, these parking lots I have spray painted, so I know where to put all the cones. And I'm also telling people in Southern California about paying it forward in Robert Simmons, and people are following him there. And they want to know when my wife and I, her nickname is Gigi. When Gigi and I are practicing, I get a text, hey, let us know when you're going to go practice. Mm-hmm. So they're following Rob from all the way in California, and I just can't say so much about this channel and you know how much it's teaching me to be a confident rider and look good on the bike when you're riding, not dragging your feet, being able to just go real slow.
The practice is always going to be, your skill is going to be shown in your practice. So they're serious about it, right? Him and his wife out there practicing. Now, this is Maria's motorcycle, and right now we're trying to talk her into a street glide or a road king.
She's ready to move up.
And she kind of said she doesn't want a fairing, but her reasoning behind that is, you know, we're not going to use the 5-letter word heavy. The weight doesn't matter. And you guys just finished doing Jerry Palladino's class, right?
This is Gigi right here.
Well, we want her to be ready. She's carrying a bag.
Yeah.
Come over here, dear, so we're not shooting into the sun. And she actually came in second place. So if you guys didn't see that video, Ride Like a Pro, this is from the Sunday that just passed. And in that video, it says that I think he titled it, the women did better than the men.
Out of 11 participants, and 2 of them being girls, the girls outdid us all.
The girls outdid them more. And we got, one of them was Dee. Dee, I actually texted her last night, told her how proud I was of her. She rides a Road Glide. She's from Alabama. She did my class as well, and she killed it there. And then this young lady right here, what's your name?
Maria,
Okay.
aka Gigi,
Okay. And you're from?
Southern California.
Of course, because that's where your husband is from.
Yep,
Okay, and how long have you been riding a motorcycle?
2 years when COVID started.
And now here's the important question. How long have you been practicing slow speed riding on your motorcycle?
2 years.
Exactly. So right from the start,
Yeah.
this was a priority for you. Excellent.
Yes.
If you had to rate yourself 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what would you rate yourself slow speed?
Slow speed, probably like an 8.
8. Wow, she's bringing like I am. All right, good.
Pretty good. She's getting a lot of confidence lately.
And here's the good thing. Maria and Ruben are going to be taking my practice session this coming Sunday, the post-Daytona practice session. So
Yes.
if you guys are like 8, I want to see it. All right, you'll get to see it.
And if I'm not an 8, I'm going to prove to myself that I can be an 8.
There you go. I love it. Tell us about your motorcycle. What are you riding? For now.
2020 Deluxe.
Okay. Does she have a name? Or he?
Ruby.
Ruby.
Yeah.
Does your bike have a name?
Blue Angel.
Blue Angel. Okay. So I know you like Ruby. Saddleman seat. Very nice. Mm-hmm. Now, when you were just in the dealership, were you looking at any Road Kings or Street Glides?
I didn't even look. Not yet.
I think a Street Glide's in your future.
You
The
think?
fairing is a good thing. It's a good thing. It's time for you to get some music. Hey, Rube, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, how would you rate your slow speed skills?
Well, because I've watched your videos so much and I know how good you are and what you teach, I would say 5, maybe 6.
Okay. And listen,
But I'm improving all the time.
and that's what we always want. We want increments of improvement. It could be fractions. It doesn't matter, but we just want to keep moving forward. I appreciate you allowing me and trusting me to ride your bike over here to make some U-turns. I apologize. I scuffed the floorboard a little bit, but it's okay. All right, a pleasure to finally meet you both.
You too.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you both in Pooler, Georgia.
Yeah, sure was. That's the first time I met Gigi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that was
so,
awesome,
So
man.
that was quite a bit of while after we
Yeah.
had a phone conversation and already built a friendship just via the phone.
Yeah, and if you guys watch his videos, you know that he does the intro interview. And when we met in Daytona, I remember you told me, so how do you rate yourself as a writer? And
Yes.
I didn't know the scales. I said, like, I'm an 8.
Yeah, and by that time I already knew, been watching some of his videos, knowing what the scale really meant and
Yeah.
what the numbers really meant, and I knew that we were more like a 1 or 2.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm an 8.
I was trying to like go, Gigi. Oh.
Well, you know what? I don't think you at that time.
Yes.
I don't think you were a 1 or a 2. Not at that time. I know you weren't.
Well, we were just
Well,
kind
I
of.
was.
I didn't know what number to say, but I knew we weren't 8 or not even
I
close.
remember when she said that, you were like, oh, you know.
He was like in the background going, no.
Then when we actually took your first practice session, she dialed it back quite
Yeah.
a bit.
She did,
to
but
answer
still,
that.
she was awesome.
But
Just
like
awesome.
I was telling one of the ladies in this last weekend, she gave herself a good number, and I said, "Hey, I go, she's giving herself a number with confidence and her goal to get there."
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
that's right.
So you mentioned practice session 97 and, no, 98, 99.
99.
Right.
Yeah. So these guys were just an integral part of practice session number. It were actually any practice sessions that I do here. And I just have to tell you, I don't think it would happen if it weren't for these two guys. I mean, I'm talking about from the smallest things to the largest things. If you're not checking out Gpops and Gigi, I don't know what to tell you, man. You got to check it out. They're just awesome people.
Oh, appreciate it. All right, Rob. So tell us about the career that you had with the New York Police Department.
So it was a great career, 22-year career, 15 years in the highway patrol of the NYPD. But I started in 1995. I was 22 years old, and I was originally assigned to the Housing Bureau, which is a part of the NYPD that covers the housing developments. There's a Transit Bureau as well. They cover the trains. And I loved my job. I loved what I did. There was a lot. This was during the crack age, so there was a lot of drugs, a lot of arrests. I was very active. 1995, that same year, I'll never forget this. The Pope came to New York City, and I was on a foot post near the highway. I'm freezing, and I look up the highway and I see a policeman sitting in a car. I didn't know what unit he was in. I knew he wasn't a supervisor. I knew he was a police officer. So I said to myself, whatever unit that is, I want to be in that unit, just because he gets to sit while I'm standing and freezing.
Oh.
I later on found out that was the highway patrol, so I said I want to be in the highway patrol, not knowing anything about the fact that they ride motorcycles. I just knew I could sit in the car and be warm. So,
Cold weather in New York, huh?
Yeah.
I've never been there.
yeah.
He has.
Yeah, Rob, when we met you, the name of your channel was Paying It Forward.
Yeah.
What compelled you to start a YouTube channel, and why did you later change the name to Be the Boss of Your Motorcycle? And what is the vision behind this great channel?
Okay, so, what led me to start a YouTube channel? Okay, so I knew what YouTube was, but I didn't know what channels were. I've never subscribed to anybody because it's not something I regularly watched. I went to YouTube if I wanted to know how to do something. And so I remember I wanted to add well, first of all, I wanted to hang some televisions in my house. Went to YouTube, a bunch of videos to watch to be able to do it, nice and easy. I wanted to do some electrical outlets, add some, YouTube. And so I said to myself, I'm sick of just taking all the time from YouTube. I want to be able to contribute something. So I said, let me start a YouTube channel. And even then, I still didn't have any direction on what I was going to do. Because if you notice, the first video I did was November 16th, 2020. The basic fundamentals of slow speed riding on your motorcycle. I didn't have a microphone. I didn't know anything about how important it was to have a microphone. And that video I did was just a video to do. And I remember, in about a week or two, I was going to do Ride Like a Pro with Jerry Palladino. And so I remember when I went out there and I did that course, and he offered me a franchise. And I remember when I was riding home and I said in the video, I'm not interested in that. You know, if anything, I'm going to do my own thing because I want to do it my own way. But still, I had no Where I am now was not the plan, not at all. And so that's why when it came to a name for the channel, Robert Simmons Paying It Forward, that's what I thought about. I wanted to change the name way before I did, but ignorance. I thought if I changed the name, everything's going to start all over.
You would lose your
Yeah,
audience.
exactly. Once I found out that wouldn't be the case, it was a no-brainer. So be the boss of your motorcycle was already something I was saying. The issue with Robert Simmons Paying It Forward is nobody would look at that title and know what it was, right? What am I paying forward, right? Be the boss of your motorcycle, and a picture of a dude on the motorcycle leaning. If you're thinking about motorcycles, it's going to get you to
It's
click on
catchy.
that. Yeah. Vision behind the channel is really all in the name, is to be the boss of your motorcycle. Meaning, when you slow down on your motorcycle, most people are definitely not the boss. They're totally intimidated by it. But being the boss, just like I was a boss on my job, a boss is in control. And the good thing about that is the perception of being a boss is being in control. So you can look at somebody on their motorcycle and tell whether they're in charge or they're not. So it's about being the boss. It's good to be the boss,
Yeah.
most of the time.
What can someone expect when they attend your practice sessions?
They can expect patience, positivity. They can expect to leave there with a better understanding of what they need to work on. They can expect a bump in their confidence. They can expect education. They can expect realism, because I'm a realist. I'm not going to blow smoke up anybody's butt, but I'm going to let them know that if they're not putting in a lot of work to do something, to just be patient with themselves. Like, I can be patient with you, but you have to be patient with yourselves as well. They can expect to be on YouTube if they decide to, do the practice sessions. They can expect to get a well-rounded view of motorcycle riding. And the reason it's well-rounded is because it's not just me. It's a bunch of different people, all different skill levels, and, opening themselves up to be on YouTube to share that with everybody.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good title, and it's like what you're saying. Be the boss of your motorcycle. It's catchy title, and
Are you the boss of your motorcycle?
yes, I am.
How about you, Ruben?
Yes.
Absolutely
We've
you are.
learned, we've learned to become the boss
We've
of our
learned to
motorcycle.
become, and
It wasn't always that way.
yeah, and I think, like you're saying, be the boss of your motorcycle. You have to continue to be your boss, because sometimes when bosses go on vacation, the employees slack off, right? So when the boss comes back,
That's
you have
right.
to retrain your employees. So sometimes when you don't practice, you lose that touch of becoming your boss.
Exactly. That's
Or being the boss.
excellent analogy. You go on vacation, it's the same way with this bike. You stop riding that bike for a little while, it's so perishable. Speaking of bosses, were you guys both in the snowman, doing the snowman at the same time?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. And when I first rolled up and saw that, I was like, oh my God, I wish I had my camera on you guys.
Hey, Rob, someone was filming us.
Any chance we can get to show that, I want people to see it. That was awesome.
Alrighty. So, what would you tell someone who's been riding for many years that hasn't used these special slow maneuver motorcycle skills?
I would tell them, well, the first quote I would give them, I actually got from Ruben, because he used to say it all the time. You don't know what you don't know. Simple as that. I would say, put your ego aside. That's what we always do before a practice session. And for some people, that's difficult to do, especially if they've been riding for many, many decades. But I want them to know that I already said it's a positive environment. There's no arrogance. There's no judgment. Nothing like that. And I want them to know that they don't have to be ashamed or embarrassed about not being able to do certain things on their motorcycle, because most people don't know how to do it. Like if you're going to be embarrassed about something, it's usually something everybody else knows how to do and you can't figure out. It's just the opposite. So, listen, I'd rather you feel a little bit apprehensive or nervous, and then, you know, once you get on board and come to practice with us, any of us, and you'll see, oh, it's not like that, right? And this is true for any kind of motorcycle. I know the majority of the motorcycles you see are the kind of motorcycles that are behind me. And that's because the people that are riding the lighter bikes, their lack of skill is not being put on display because the bike is so light. When you get something heavier, it's going to put you in check. It's going to bring out your deficiencies. So, but the rules don't change. So if you're doing something wrong on the smaller bike, you're just going to notice it more on the bigger bike.
Okay. You've been saying this. Why is it important for us to practice with cones instead of just going somewhere and just practicing?
Yes, because I do get several people that say, I practice every time I ride. Now, if those same people practice every time they ride, but they also practice with cones, that's fine. Because the practicing while riding is supplemental. It can't be the main practice. When you practice with cones, you give yourself parameters and confinement without the worry of hitting something hard, like, you know, a car or a person.
Yeah.
And what that's going to do is, when people don't practice with the cones and then the cones are there, it's all they can focus on, right? What it also gives you is the ability to judge distance and space. So if I always practice with cones at 27 feet, 3 parking spaces, when I get out there in the real world and ride, I don't need a measuring tape to be able to eyeball what that looks like. And if I can see, if I know I'm always practicing, I practice in 27 feet, but I'm always making turns, let's say in 20 feet. So if I see 27 feet or roughly 27 feet, and I know I'm making U-turns in 20, I know I don't have anything to worry about. So it's all about keeping your confidence up. When our confidence is down on a motorcycle, it's dangerous.
I noticed somebody said when they got to the practice and they saw the cones set up for the right and left turn, they saw it and says, wow, it looks so different on camera. But then I heard him in the background, he says, now I know what to look out for or how to set it up, because he was using the parking spots that you were using.
Yep,
so now,
exactly.
like you said, visual, he knows that when he goes home, he's going to practice with those cones there. And without cones in the real world, he's going to know what that looks like, and he knows that he can do it.
Yep, absolutely. And then the cones kind of disappear, because if I know I made a turn in 7.5 feet straight up, and I didn't just make it, I really made it, then when you get out there in the real world, your confidence is going to be up now, because I do this all the time. Right? That's it.
We'd like to think that Rob is the GOAT of low-speed operations of a motorcycle. We obviously are a little biased, but it's based on so much that we've learned from your channel. We honestly think that these are life-saving skills that you're providing, that you're showing people. In the years that we've been training, we are surprised on the things that we can do with these motorcycles that we couldn't do before, that we were scared to do before. We were scared to do U-turns, and there's so many other things that we never thought we could do because of this level of training. We now can ride with confidence and feel we're safer riders and enjoy riding much more. It's so much more fulfilling knowing how to ride these motorcycles the way the engineers designed these and intended them to be ridden. Gigi and I are committed to continuing education and taking courses in slow-speed operations of a motorcycle and high-speed operations of the motorcycle. Rob, do you think that we can spread this message and the importance of these skills, even though we don't have the credentials that you have?
Of course. I mean, if I think about it, what credentials do I have? I mean, yeah, I was trained by the NYPD Highway Patrol Motorcycle Unit. That's it. What you guys are seeing now from me is really, like, if you look back all the way back to practice session number 1 versus now, the evolution of all of that is because of you guys. You guys, every riders, people, me. I mean, some people have a natural ability when it comes to certain things. So I'll say, I guess I'm just I'm a natural leader. I already know that. But I'm a people person. So certain skill sets put together will be successful. So I'm able to talk to people a certain way, and take a skill that I was taught because nobody taught me trust and believe, preload. None of that stuff was used. I just came up with all of that stuff, and it just seems to help people because the normal terminology used, a lot of people leave confused. Feather the clutch. They don't know what that means. I didn't know what the hell that meant. Feather the clutch. So at the end of the day, knowledge is what's shared. So, you know, we always say this is an each one, teach one environment.
Yeah.
You don't need any credentials to share good information, right? And if you know what you're talking about, even if you don't, but it's well intended, share it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Good. That's good. Okay, so we know that you've trained many women, right? What are your thoughts about women and maneuvering these heavy motorcycles?
Well, we don't use the 5-letter word.
Maneuvering these big bikes.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So I love it. I love this is what's so special about you because you are yesterday's practice session, and even the day before. Guys are looking at you, of course, because if you're 5 feet tall, correct? All right. So,
Yes.
and you ride a street glide and you ride a road glide. All right. That's not something you see all of the time, right? This is a male-dominated field to begin with.
Yeah.
And so people that don't really know how to operate these things, other things are going to seem like they're a big deal, like your height and stuff like that, when it really isn't. So I tell you this all the time. You speak to everybody. When I say you, I mean female riders. If another female sees you the way you ride, that's inspirational. Girl power. From a guy, it might be, I guess I could use the same word inspirational, but really it's like anger. You know, it's like, oh, this is bull crap. You know, because again, this is supposed to be a guy thing. She's doing it better than me. So I always say I don't care what motivates people to practice. If you want to practice on your motorcycle because you think it looks cool, then you practice on your motorcycle. If you want to do it because you're going to be safer, you want to be more knowledgeable, do it. You want to do it just because they do it, I don't care the reason. The end result is always the same. You're going to be safer.
Yeah, true.
Rob, tell us a little bit about your connection with Harley-Davidson. I know in the last several years you've had some unique opportunities, filming, testing, reviewing some of the latest motorcycles in the last 2 or 3 years, and specifically your thoughts on the new CVO ST.
So it's my relationship with Harley-Davidson. It's been great, you know. It's because it's not something that was seeked out, but you know, kudos to Harley-Davidson for kind of changing the roadmap that they usually have of using celebrities to advertise motorcycles and stuff like that, and instead coming to YouTube and reaching out to certain content creators. And I don't take that lightly because it could have reached out to anybody. So for the 2023 CVO Road Glide and Street Glide, this is the motorcycle introducing the brand new body style that we have right here. And I get tapped on the shoulder for that, and John, Cycle Fanatics. It could have been anybody. But, you know, both of us have positive channels.
Damn. Holy shit.
And Matt Swedlin from Harley-Davidson, the PR department, he's the one that kind of, you know, not just him, but PJ and the people in the public relations division. They liked the relationship that John and I had, and they said, you know what, this would be perfect. And to be in that commercial, that was just awesome. Just awesome. You know, to be able to be a part of something that nobody else, exclusivity. You know, I love CVOs. That's what CVOs are all about, the exclusivity. And then being tapped on the shoulder to fly out to Arizona and ride the new ST models out there. And then recently to Vegas to ride this on the racetrack, this 2024 CVO Road Glide ST and the Street Glide and Road Glide 2024. And I mean, oh my gosh. So it's great. It's a great relationship. Coming up in July, tapping me on the shoulder again, we're going to be doing a meet and greet content creators from YouTube out at Homecoming. And
awesome.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm also going to be doing a demonstration out there as well at the Product Development Center, PDS, whatever that was called. No, PDC, I had it right. The Product Development Center.
That's in Milwaukee, right?
That's in Milwaukee.
In July.
That's the main, that's where they build the motorcycles. So I'll be in the parking lot outside doing that with the, you know, Harley-Davidson have their own like motor team that they do demonstrations. They, you know, I'm gonna be doing something separate with them for 3 days. So just great, man, just great.
Great opportunities.
Rob, when we first saw you on the first commercial and all the stuff you've done for Harley. We've been so proud of you and
Yeah.
just
Thank you.
so proud that we know him, everything he can do on that bike, he's teaching us to do. So
He's our friend.
He's our friend, and we really
Absolutely,
appreciate you.
first and foremost, and my ambassadors. So I couldn't think, all of my ambassadors, and like so you guys know, I get requests all the time of people saying, I want to be an ambassador. How can I be an ambassador? Do I need to be? I'm pretty good on the motorcycle, and so I let them all know. I know that seems like it should be a prerequisite, but it's not. You don't have to ride but you do have to be dedicated to it, right? But then there's a whole bunch of other things too. And so the whole ambassador thing, that's my wife. So many things, there's so many things that that if you look at my channel, it's my wife, you just don't see her. And this is one of them, the whole ambassador thing. And so it's never somebody we were looking for. We weren't looking for a California ambassador, but when you see him, you know him, and that's you guys. Now you asked me about this bike behind me, 2024 CVO Road Glide ST. What's my thoughts on it? Well, let's put it like this. In my mind, I'm not buying another motorcycle. I knew this bike was coming out, and I saw a picture of it, but I thought it was a picture of the bike coming out, and they threw aftermarket parts on it. So I didn't even look twice at it. I already had my 23. I'm good. The day of the reveal, and I saw that's what that bike looks like, stock. I did a video on it, the thumbnail. It was a picture of the bike, and it just said, damn it. Because I knew right there I'm buying it. Before I knew anything else, I knew I was buying this bike. It's the best motorcycle, Harley-Davidson, arguably, in my opinion, it's the best motorcycle they've ever made, period. And if somebody will say, well, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, what it does have is when you look at that, you look at it, right? I mean, the other CVOs are nice, but they just don't get the attention this bike gets. It's just beautiful. I look at it now, I can't believe that it comes like that.
I know.
And so I'm gonna make some changes to it, but the good thing is it's not something drastic. I don't have to change a bunch of stuff. So they really knocked it out the park, not just with that bike, but with the 24 model Road Glide and Street Glide. Street Glide, the bars still need to be changed, but they really did. Amazing bikes. If you haven't ridden those bikes, test ride them.
And the colors are nice.
Yes.
This time.
It's the first time ever that,
Really nice.
like if I had to buy a standard bike, not a CVO, I'm okay. Before it was a big difference.
Yeah.
Now the colors are so nice, and because you don't have a base model, special, it's just, they really look good. They really do.
Yeah.
And they've started some new packages that you can,
Yeah.
that they didn't have
yeah.
before, where you can add, packages with all kinds of parts that you won't have to go buy them and put them on your bike and just make it your own.
26 grand. And the good thing about those packages is now, like if you bought a Street Glide Special, they might be including certain things in the price on that motorcycle that you don't necessarily want. So at least now, you don't have to get it. So if somebody wanted to just spend a minimal amount of money, well, let me not say minimal, a lesser amount of money, they can just say, give me the bike right the way it is, 26,000, whatever it is, base price, and I can add the other stuff later or maybe aftermarket. So they're going in the right direction too.
Well, changing gears. Rob's wife, beautiful bride, our friend, Anita, was supposed to be here, but due to her not feeling well, she had to cancel at the last minute. And we just want to tell her that we love her and we missed her being
Yes.
here.
Yeah, she was here last year for their first annual, and like I'm saying annual because I'm hoping that this
Yeah.
is going to be an annual thing next year.
Why are you
too.
hoping it? It is.
It
Okay,
is.
she's
Yeah,
coming
absolutely.
next year. I know that you've heard this phrase many times, behind a great man is a great woman. Well, we'd like to think that next to you, alongside of you, not behind you, is a great, caring, loving wife that works mostly behind the scenes. We know that. We don't see her too often, but we know she's so valuable to you working for this channel. And it's so impressive to see you guys work in such a cohesive team.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Nothing truer could be said. I say it all the time. She's a phenomenal woman. I mean, it's a reason why I got a ring on. I'm not going to just marry anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? I mean, just a phenomenal woman. So many things behind this channel. Like I said, has her name on it. Preloaders. She said you have to come up with a name for the people that follow the channel. And she said, you say preloader all the time. No, she said, you say preload and keep it loaded. How about preloaders?
Good one. Yeah.
And then with the paid subscribers, VI preloaders. Now I noticed that Gigi always says, she even wrote it, she puts VIP preloaders.
Oh, it's just
VI preloaders. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, VI preloaders. That way it can still just be VIP.
Oh, yes,
Oh,
that's
I see.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
She just integrated it.
Yeah, I mean, she's done, the fact that I'm sitting here with you guys, ambassadors, her idea. Traveling practice sessions, her idea. Private lessons, her idea. All of which I told her initially, well, not the ambassadors, but the traveling practice sessions and the private lessons, I told her I had no interest in doing that. If they want to come practice with me, I told them, just come to Pula.
And look where you are now.
Exactly. That's what I mean. It's-
Opposite side of the country.
she started this, and I'm so happy for it, man, because it's put me in touch with so many people. And even if it's a journey where I have to drive, and it's a long distance, like for instance, coming up, I'm going to be going to, where am I going? Detroit, Michigan. That's going to be a long drive. But once I get there, it's always worth it. It just always is. But we'll see what happens with that. That's in the plans.
Well, Rob, thank you for being here with us and spending time with us. And we're looking forward to next year.
That's all mine.
We don't know what, maybe it might fall in the same timeline. We're not sure, but we're looking forward to that. I know the practice session, I think it was Saturday, the class was saying already, let's have a class reunion next year.
Yeah.
And so they're excited about that. I also want to thank you for instilling in us how to be the bosses of our motorcycles and to continue to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
And for those out there that have never, if this is your first time seeing him or you're going to go on his channel, continue to watch his practice sessions and his instructions. And what you see here, this sweet man, that's how he is in person when you see him. So don't be afraid to come out to one of his practices, because I've gotten that from women. It's like, oh, I'm afraid of going because I just don't think, I'm too of a beginner. There's no position that you have on, or skills that you have on your bike that he can't help you with. It's just a pleasure to always hear your voice, and even when we're out there riding, I hear your voice in my head, and we tell each other stuff, right?
Every time we're practicing, we hear, what we should have did right or what we're not doing right. We hear you in our head. That's so much we respect and practice your drills.
So much that we were doing a practice session here, and you can watch it on our YouTube channel, that we're trying to practice how to do the top of the snowman, the 18 one, and I was recording with his phone and not knowing that he was gonna put it up.
No.
And so he says, "You sound like Rob."
I mentioned it. I didn't know that Rob had a West Coast associate out here, giving instruction.
More.
Rob, I know you're so busy all the time, and this is for this great channel.
Again.
Tell us a little bit about your upcoming events.
Okay, well, first I want to thank you for those kind words. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
But I got to give you guys your flowers too, because anytime somebody gives me any, thank you, Robert, blah, 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 I always say, it's my pleasure, but it's really 20% me, it's 80% you. You guys are really into this. When I found out that you guys pack up your motorcycles, like you're leaving your house and we're gonna go practice. You pack up your motorcycles, you bring food, a table, chairs, you guys have like a picnic. That's just,
Phones, for sure.
I mean, that blew my mind when I heard you say that, man. You're consciously, that's what you're leaving the house to do, right? So it's not surprising to me anymore to watch you ride. And when I first came out to the first practice session out here, or any practice session with you guys, I'm watching you ride, and sometimes I would get nervous. Now my confidence watching you two is through the roof. Ruben used to make me the most nervous because of that big tire on the front. I used to think that
right.
But man, you handle that thing like it's nobody's business. So
And no bad guards. I always
That's
get on
right.
there. It's like, "There's
yes,
no bad guards."
with no bad guards either, and it's a custom paint job. So definitely kudos to you guys.
Thank you.
Upcoming events. Whew. Okay, so practice session number 100 will be on May 11th. Right, that's in Pula, Georgia.
That's at your home range.
That's in the home base.
Outfitting, 100.
Yeah, outfitting. It had to be. I mean, I remember when we were going through this, and Ruben was asking me, "Is there any chance 100 could be in California?" And at the time, I'm thinking, I don't think it's going to work out. But then when I thought about it, it had to be in Pula. It didn't
Well, I
make
was
sense.
trying to convince him that, we'll just squeeze another one in there, move it in, so we'll have the 100 one here in California.
Yeah, and it probably would have happened. it just happened to work out that way. And when I actually thought about it, that's when I said, no, it needs to be in Pooler, Georgia.
Yeah, that's more awesome.
So that I can have some of the people that were in that first practice session be in this one, Wood Jr. and Marshall and, you know, some other people.
Yeah.
So after that, I think that's all I have in May, aside from a slew of private lessons. I got a bunch of private lessons. June is busy. Every weekend in June is booked. June 1st, I'll be in New Jersey. That practice session is overbooked, actually. June 2nd, Maryland. June 9th, Tennessee. That's Bootlegger Harley-Davidson. June, I think it's the 15th and the 16th. That is Mississippi, if I'm not correct. The 22nd and the 23rd of June, Florida. 29th and 30th of June, Ohio. July, I forget the dates, but I think it's the 12th and the 13th. I don't know. That's going to be North Carolina. August, I'm going to be in Chicago, the south side of Chicago.
You've
And
never been to Chicago or Detroit that I remember.
no, I haven't. This is all new. So a VI preloader, his name is, oh my God, what's this guy's name? Julian. His name is Julian Champion. Julian flew to Pooler, Georgia for a private lesson with me for maybe a week, maybe 4 days. I don't know how long. And he rented Angel. Man, he was dedicated because it was hot. So we would finish the lesson, and then he rented my bike so he can keep practicing on his own while I left. Anyway, make a long story longer. He went home, and now his confidence is so high, he bought a Road King. He runs a music school on the south side of Chicago. He contacted me and said, listen, we're going to do a group ride, because not only is he trying to teach the youth in the inner city about instruments and music, but also motorcycles and the safety of motorcycles, his staff.
Oh, stuff.
So he's hosting a group ride, riding through the communities, past the schools that he works with, and he wants me to be the grand marshal of that ride.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going out there for that, and then the following day it's going to be a practice session, which is a Sunday. So I'm looking forward to that. That's good
That
stuff.
sounds interesting. That sounds.
You know what the Let's Roll Dolly is?
Yes.
Yeah, so Renee is the CEO of that company, and she contacted me, and so we're going to be doing a practice session in Michigan, and she's going to be a part of that. Let's Roll's going to be a part of that. That's going to be at, I forget the name of the Harley-Davidson dealership, but that's in the works right now.
That's the one in Detroit you're having?
That's right.
Michigan.
It's Michigan.
Oh.
It's Michigan. Detroit, I'm still working on that, so I don't know if that's actually going to happen. September, I'll be back in Florida again for another practice session. Now that's at Gator Ford. He wants me to come out there quarterly.
Oh.
Right, that's what he wanted. He told me that last year. So this year it'll be 3 times. And then lastly, what's scheduled as far as practice sessions is in South America, Uruguay.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll be going out there for 4 days of training or something like that. Looking forward to that. And then, of course, in November, the 4th anniversary, the group ride, the luncheon, and then the day after that, the practice session.
And the cobblestones.
No, I'm not going to do that again. to
Cobblestones,
people.
I remember writing that.
I'm not going to say
cobblestone.
I'm never going to do it, but we'll see. At least now, people know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
know
was gonna
that.
come prepared.
Well, you guys are already ready. You're ready.
So I know that the next time we're actually going to see you will be at, what you mentioned, in Tennessee, Bootlegger Harley-Davidson,
Yes.
June 9th, because we're all going to be attending Traveling Tall's Run to the Hills 4.
All right, guys, it is a beautiful day today, and I'm here in East Tennessee, beautiful Knoxville, Tennessee, at Bootlegger Harley-Davidson. I got my good friends, my new good friends, Ruben and Gigi, all the way from California. Now, I'm standing in front of Traveling Tall's Run to the Hills poster, which we are on our 4th one this year. They're from California. I'm asking them to show up. You want to come? I'll come again. You come? Yes. Okay, so what excuse you have? We're in the middle of Tennessee. It's the middle of everywhere. I want to see you here at Traveling Tall's Run to the Hills 4. We're going to have a good time. All right? You've been having a good time in Tennessee?
So we're excited to do that.
Yeah.
His 2-day event, but we're planning on staying another week or two there and traveling the great roads of the Great Smoky Mountains, which we did that in November, but we're going to spend more time there because it's just beautiful roads, and
Yeah.
we enjoy that so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, guys, we'd like to hear your thoughts of the importance of slow speed motorcycle skills, so please comment below with your thoughts on that.
So thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. And remember to turn that bell notification on so you can always know when the next video is coming up.
Until next time.
Remember, count your blessings and be a blessing.